Oh baby, everybody, and we are back. Welcome back to Words with Wayman. Little pre-episode stuff right here. Little inside baseball is what you're hearing right now through your headphones. If you listened to Generations last week, thank you so much. If not, go back and give it a listen. We got an awesome episode this week. Cue the music. Did you already cue the music? I guess just start the episode then. Jesus.
We're back for a fun little episode with a guy I've got a little bit of history with. Welcome to the podcast, Jon Venegoni, everybody. St. Louis comic, musician, all-around sweet boy, long hair master, my college friend. We met in Columbia when we went to Mizzou.
We did.
Together. We took the journey. You went to school for music.
I did.
How did you make the journey from music to comedy?
That was actually on a whim.
Mm-hmm.
It was my first senior year in Columbia. I did.
He did a baker's dozen.
Yeah, did two of them. Brought it around again.
Animal House type scenario.
One night it was one of these semesters I was taking like 18 hours. It was a February, and I was
like how you said that.
I remember
February.
It started in a February for me, and I saw an old high school friend out in front of the library. I was probably just all Adderalled out, just chain smoking and stuff. And he told me, he was like, "Well, I'm gonna get going here. There's this comedy show I'm gonna check out." I was like, "There's a comedy show?" He's like, "Yeah, it's like this open mic at Eastside." And then I was amazed. I was like, they allow you to do that shit? I've always wanted to. I'd always watch comedy. So I went upstairs and packed up all my shit and went over there. Dan Friesen was running it at the time.
Yeah.
Good old Dan. And I
still in
walked
Chicago.
up and I started, he's still in Chicago. He's doing good things, man. Yeah, but I ran up to him and I was like, hey, man, I know you're supposed to like sign up a week before, but like I really have to try this tonight. Like, please, I need to try it. And he was like, okay, you'll go first and you'll do 2 minutes. And
2 hot minutes.
Yeah, I'm sure that I ate like 25 sloppy bowls of dicks, but that's how I got into it.
Oh, man, that's where I think I did my second set there. The first one I did was at that rooftop comedy competition that they did.
Oh.
And so I blew it in front of like 100 people as opposed to like the 30 that would be at Eastside.
You did your first set on a rooftop one? Jeez.
Yeah, it was like the comedy contest they did.
Wow.
Down at Mizzou. But then all the other first sets I did, like the first couple were at Eastside.
Oh, Eastside, so that show, I still love going back to.
Still runs, which is cool. You don't see shows run that long since... that's almost 8 to 10 years I think it's been going.
Yep. Yeah.
So you did it that first time and then were you hooked immediately?
Oh, I was. I didn't look back, man. Yeah.
I feel like you know right away or you're like, I'll never do that again.
Oh, yeah. Or maybe like you're just deluded enough to want to try it again.
Yeah, some people do really well their first time and then they're like, let's do that again because it's easy. And then they realize it's terrible after that.
Well, you got to keep on writing because people still, normally when they see a first timer, like they give a little bit of, you introduce them as a first timer.
It's usually nice. You usually do well. I was
Yeah.
introduced as a first-timer up in Denver for like the first couple months I was up there. It was the best. I've been doing comedy like 4 years.
Like, wow, jeez.
He is
This guy's
pretty good.
Polished.
For
Seems
4
like he's worked at
years.
clubs. You're
He's
like, hey, guys, give
terrible.
up your bartenders. Like you're just doing the industry stuff on your first time.
And then I walked back behind the bar afterwards.
Yeah, he's very well read.
Give it up for me. Did you have material the first time you went up there, or were you just...
Oh, I don't think I had material until like 3-4 years ago.
Yeah, me
You know?
too, when looking back on it.
Yeah, I thought I did, but I didn't.
I know, and you ever see like videos of yourself? Because they started filming videos down there pretty regular, pretty early.
I knew that I shouldn't have videos out there yet because I still think of myself as like a work in progress. Whenever somebody like videotapes, I just ask them to keep it private still.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Because I don't want to get shit stomped on, or I don't want people to judge me on something that's not like fully worked out yet.
Yeah,
You know?
that's
what
a
if it's
fear.
one of those lucky things that somebody's Googling about me, then they find an old ass video, then they think I'm a turd.
If I'm doing a Hot 20 on Target, I want to be able to work
Ooh.
on it for a couple of years before I take it out to the public.
Hot 20 on Target, dude.
Doing so much Target material. I'm going to be touring around the food courts of this country, making all my millions.
Get pretzels and cheese. Oh, man.
He's got 10 minutes on pretzels. So we started pretty much similar around the same times. We actually had that.
You were like a year or two before me, though, right? Like,
Yeah,
hadn't you been doing
but
it
I
for-
feel like doing it on and off down there. Like I mean, it's not like now where I used to be able to have time to do comedy. But like when you
Yeah.
do it like 4 or 5 times, 6 times a week, maybe a little bit less. But down there, I was doing it maybe like once a month or.
And that's what it is too. Like sometimes, like especially when I ran Fitz's and everything,
Yeah.
kids that have been doing it there for a couple months are thinking like, "Oh man, I'm gonna go out here," and then we have more comics here and everything like
Yeah.
that. They're like, "How long do we get?" And I was like, "Anywhere between 3 and 5, possibly, maybe less if it's a big sign up." And then they were always like, "Ugh," and then it's like, buddy, you don't have 10 minutes yet.
That was
it
the
takes
thing.
a long time before you have material, and
Yeah.
sometimes that show can be a little bit of a nursery. Like you have to get more reps than just once a week or once a month. You have to get out there and eat a dick a bunch of times a week.
In that show, I mean, some of the spots, I feel like on Fitz, there's like 10 or 15, maybe 20 good spots at the beginning, and then it would kind of fizzle out towards the end. So if you're newer, you normally go to the end anyway.
Yeah,
unless you get there
I
real
would
early.
try to be fair, though. When people brought people, I wouldn't, like, hold an audience cap. I did that a couple times. That's such a dick move, like, making people wait an hour and a half to watch their friend fail for 3 minutes. So.
Yeah. That show is still going on, too. That's been a pretty successful show. No, it's gone?
It's done.
I thought it was on hiatus.
Yeah, it was on hiatus.
And then they killed it?
Then, evidently management changed it. Fitz's and blah, 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 blah.
It was fun while it lasted.
Ryan and Andrew were running it, and they let it die. They let my little show die.
Your sweet baby die.
My sweet baby show.
That was the weird part, because like there and here you do like 3 to 5 minutes. In New Orleans, when I started down there, they're like, we've got to fill this whole show, but there's no comics, so they put us up there for like 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Which good things can be said about both.
Mm-hmm.
Failing
but also
for 15.
sometimes with a super, super brand new person.
Oh, God.
Making people fail for 15. They're like, this is a person that gets a feature-length set?
Oh, no.
Right?
It was
it's
bad.
like not putting your best feet forward sometimes.
No, it like had the thing of like, here, we're going to make you do this.
I'm not like a prized possession here. I'm not like the best, I'm like far from that. I'm far from like the best in our scene.
We're middle of the pack, baby. We've always been.
Above, just lay above average there. Not the best, not the worst. Not the worst.
This is a longevity game. I'm playing.
Exactly.
I'm going to get funny at like 40.
Oh, yeah. That's when I'll be a millionaire, right? When my body starts failing.
God, once I actually get some material, that's the toughest part.
Yeah.
Talking about time, how much time do you think that you have? Like, what? I mean, you're at a feature length set now, obviously.
I've featured and stuff before. Like, the longest I've done, like, on the books is like a 35-minute set.
Nice.
So, yeah.
And it's a difference, too, if it's a hot crowd at a club, because you do helium a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's a hot club crowd, then it's easier to stretch your legs a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, like, the more time you get, the easier it becomes to me. I don't know, it's, I find it's easier to do a feature set now because you have a little bit of time to make stuff breathe and you can have a little more nuance rather than when I've done like longer sets, then I go back to a shorter set. It kind of sucks because then I find that I'm like jam packing my sets and rushing it and stuff like that. And that's no good.
I totally get that way, especially in comedy contests, because I get all nervous because I'm like,
get all these good jokes in.
They need 8 jokes when really I should probably tell 3 and then get out of there. But I just rush through it all and get like a madman.
You want to show them what you can do, though. That's understandable, but it's something I've had to learn is I'll write down everything that I want to do and I'll cross off everything that I shouldn't do.
Just like think about what you can remember on stage or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I still use notes like a motherfucker, dude.
Yeah.
All the time. On the back of my hand.
Yeah.
Scraps of paper, tattooing it on myself.
What do you say to the people that say that's unprofessional, John?
Oh, they can eat a bowl of dicks too. Like, don't tell me how to live my life.
That's true. I mean, this comedy is yours. It's not anybody else's.
Musicians that have played the same fucking album on the road for 4 years get set lists on stage. Why not me, a person that actually has to remember like all 30 minutes of everything that I have to say?
That's a good point.
Wouldn't you rather that I just remember the concept better and deliver you a better product than sitting there searching around my head for the next concept? Let me do my shit. My jokes speak for themselves. Having notes wasn't the reason that somebody didn't like me. My joke not hitting is the reason that somebody didn't like me.
God, that's a good sound.
I don't like
that's
that.
a good soundbite right there.
Absolutely. I don't like that shit, especially when people are like, oh, do you do like a new set every time? No, how could you ever do that? Do musicians get to like, do they have to come up with a new album every time they play a concert? That's
It's
a little
weird,
unfair to expect.
Because I can hear the same song 10 times like in a row or like within a couple days, but once you hear the joke and reveal the punchline, it's gone. It's done forever.
It is different, but like a good enough story. Like I love Jon Venegoni so much, and I've listened to so many of his specials multiple times, and the stories, even though I know what's coming, they're still funny because he's not just saying funny things; he's saying things funny. It's the way that he says it. It's the journey. I love hearing him talk. Yeah.
Nate Bargatze's my John Mulaney.
Yeah.
Some guy that you can just listen to just because you like them.
There's certain comics I like the way they talk. I like hearing them talk. So.
Like that bone structure. How do you write what you talk?
Oof, gosh, very, very unorganized.
Yeah. Do you have like a specific notebook or a specific time, or you just let it come to you?
I have a series of different note folders in my phone.
Nice.
Scraps of paper, chunks of certain notebooks here and there. It's it's wherever I am, I have a way to write a joke down.
I thought you were going to say chunks of flesh for a second. I thought it was going to be like memento type situation.
Yeah, exactly.
Chunks
I
of
tattoo
people's
the
skin.
jokes on me.
This is a bit. It just does Cheetos on my calf.
Exactly.
It's a hot 2 minutes.
I always hate that too, though. Sometimes, like before bed, when I'll write down a quick concept, like I'll remember what that was.
Mm-hmm.
Then I open up my phone. I'm like, okay, dick farts. What did I?
It took me the
What did
longest
I
time.
mean? Like my past self's like, here's a gem, future self. You know, dick farts. Right on it.
You can't
Right
just
on
go up
it.
on stage and be like, "Hey guys, dick farts."
Yeah.
Just
The crowd just rushes me off on their shoulders.
people throwing their kids on stage, like, "Take my kid. You can
Absolutely,
raise him better than
please.
I can."
Yeah. Exactly. Give him a better life.
Because you're funnier.
Here are my clothes in my car, please.
It took me the longest time to be like, there will be other funny thoughts. Like, I could accept not writing something down because I was like, there'll probably be something else that I think of that's funny.
And then I feel so guilty, though, a week later from there, if I've had bad writer's block and I haven't had anything new in a while. I'm like, probably should have jotted down that concept, John.
Should have written. It was just dick
That was your
farts
HBO
again.
special. Now it's out.
DF Volume 1, the Jon
Exactly.
Venegoni story, everybody.
Presented by Def Jam. That'd be cool if they picked me up.
So is it just random? You just write randomly whenever it comes to you?
Yeah. Change helps. Like any change in my life, any new experiences always help.
Mm-hmm.
Monotony really makes me kind of shut down with material normally,
Yeah.
or like writing the material.
Yeah, it is tough. I mean, it's like, where do you get it from if you're not out experiencing things? Or like if things are pretty regular, it kind of, there is nothing there.
Yeah. Like leaving the city really helps. Like
Mhm.
leaving this city and going to another one, or even like a different part of the city that I'm not in. I don't know. Maybe I'm more perceptive to ideas coming in then.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's brain works differently on how they come up with ideas. Some people can just sit down and do it for hours and hours. Other people need to go out and live life.
Yeah. I definitely don't. I can't sit or do much in one place for a while. I mean, you've seen me just wiggling around here. I can't sit still.
You are sitting on like a chair, like a.
It's like a day bed.
Yeah, it's like a day bed.
It's not very. It's
that
not
my
very
wife bought.
flattering, you know. Like it's kind of showing
You
off.
look fantastic.
Showing off my tongue here. You like it?
But it's like I'm your therapist. Is what
It is. I'm laying down right now, and Matt's sitting straight up facing me.
Comedy is free therapy. I mean, podcasts are probably even more therapy than
It is.
because nobody's given us any terrible feedback. As we're doing it, we'll just get some hateful comments when I post this.
Oh yeah, some therapy right
People
here.
don't respect me. It's usually my grandma and my aunt.
Oh,
Just,
yeah.
they don't
Your
think
grandma
of
and
this.
aunt just troll you whenever you.
I was like, how do you guys even know what a podcast is? They're like, we
Yeah.
knew before you did.
Yeah, we knew. We listen to
Check-
better ones, bitch ass.
Talk about that Joe Rogan podcast.
Yeah, get out of here with that bush league shit.
Oh God, what's your goal with comedy? Because you work a day job. Do you
Yeah.
have like a big end goal for what you want out of
You know,
comedy?
I don't know. Like I do like my day job. You know, I like what I do. I
Which
like
nobody
people and
does, so
stuff.
that's cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty lucky. You know, I really do. I mean, what does any job not come with stress or things you don't want to do? It's a job because you have to do something to get money.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's not the number one thing you want to do, but I do like my job. So the thing is, though, is I also like things, you know, so that's why I have the job. I can't
Yeah.
live in my mom's basement.
Not after what happened.
No, not after the Basement Monsters.
Not after what happened.
2007. Well, I just it'd be cool to be famous, but I don't know if like what route I would take. I think eventually you have to get represented. You have to have a manager. You have to have an agent, and then you start finding better gigs.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I'll ever think that I'm like good enough to be like, oh, I need to find a manager now. So that's probably something I need to address.
I mean, it is some point to just have this thing that is your hobby that you enjoy to do, as opposed to this thing that you have to do to get famous, or do because you specifically want to get famous.
Yeah, and that's and I think if you're trying to do comedy to be famous, that's a pretty big long shot too.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like you're more likely to become famous being like an actor or something like that.
Mhm. Or a serial killer.
Exactly, or a serial masturbator, like whatever you want to be.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Serial masturbator that dick farts?
with dick farts, you know, with his farting dick, flopping it around Babbler State Park, you know.
I think I'm going to have to put explicit on this episode.
Oh, sorry about that.
I don't care.
For all my curses.
It's not like there's kids out there listening to
Were we
this.
supposed to? Was I supposed to be clean this whole?
Well, usually we talk a lot about Jesus and how cool,
Gosh, dag
cool
man
the big
time.
man upstairs
Sorry,
is.
my language.
Cheese and
Dang.
rice, everybody. Excuse my
Dang,
language.
so
We
sorry.
love God.
Yeah, God. Wait, let's record a God pad so that you can put God over all the F words. God.
It's gonna just sound so real.
God.
Jesus. Everyone's
Yeah.
like, that podcast
Jesus.
devolved really quickly
There really was a lot of Jesus talk.
into them talking about Jesus.
Yeah, Jesus.
Cheese and rice. That's how, these things go pretty quick. We're getting down to the end of the first episode. We've been doing this for a little while now. Not to say that I haven't improved, obviously. I'm pretty consistent. You've gotten a lot better.
No, you definitely have too. And like one thing I want to point out about you is I'm seeing a lot more long form stuff from you since you've got arrived back in St. Louis. I'm digging that whole thing.
Every city changes you.
Yeah.
And you get more stuff. I've been doing a lot more Aldi's material, which people respect.
Aldi's nuts. You know what I mean?
got some Aldi's. What advice would you have to people, like when we just started, when you just gone up at Eastside or done it a couple times, like what advice do you wish somebody had given you?
Oh,
don't do it is what most
yeah,
people
well,
say.
cut as much as you can.
That's really good advice.
Yeah, as a guy that has very little economy of words,
Mm-hmm.
you have a bit out there, and if you write it out or whatever, I write with bullet points,
Yeah.
and then I listen back to a recording of it, and then I cut based upon how.
That's another good point. Record it and then figure out what you can cut.
Record, exactly, and then cut everything. Like literally, say yeah. So guys, if you don't have to say so guys, don't say so guys. Cut out every fucking word, every Jesus God word that you can. Sorry
Dick
about
farts.
the F. Yeah, sorry about the dick farts. Cut out all those words, then you'll find that you have a good, concise bit. The crowd can follow along a lot more than you think they can.
Nice. What do you have a preference on what you record on?
Just my iPhone.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then I can access it at all times
Yeah.
and stuff. It's not the best recording, but
No.
Apple's external speakers aren't bad.
Yeah. Where do you
work.
set it on stage? Just because we get real in there on this one.
If I can, like if I'm in a club or something, I will set it on a stool and then I will aim it towards the audience.
Because you want that audience feedback?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Do you
Then
listen
you can
to
know.
it the next day? You listen to it on the way home?
Most of the time, I don't listen at all.
Okay.
Sometimes, which I know is terrible, but I use it a lot of times if I'm doing a longer set. I'll be like, is there anything weird I did in here? I'll listen to a couple. But yeah, it'll be that night or the next day if I do. Or a little bit further down the road. Just for the most part, though, I've recorded these and just labeled them, and I haven't listened back.
It's really hard to listen to myself talk, especially when I'm on stage like that.
Yeah, especially if you know, too, if something falls really flat, and you know you were struggling. You do have to bear through it and do it sometimes, but I hate it. I'm lazy with it.
It's just weird listening to yourself because I feel like comedy's kind of masturbatory in itself. When you're going up
Absolutely
there,
it
you're like
is.
the center of attention. Like, we need this. So then, listening to yourself after said event.
Yeah, listen to how cool I was, being the center of attention. Yeah.
They hated that. That's really good advice, though. I think it's really hard to look at your creation and be like, hey, I can objectively cut these words out, but I think it's very crucial for actually being
Sometimes
able
it's
to do
half
it.
a joke, too, and you think you have a 4-minute bit. But if you have a good minute from it, keep a good minute.
Cut the
Better
trash
than,
out.
3 minutes of trash. Absolutely. That's what it is.
That's great advice.
I am trash.
We're all just hot plates of garbage going through this giant garbage ball that is the earth, everybody. If there's anything you get from that, you can quote me on that.
Mm-hmm. We are just a pile of garbage spitting on a pile of garbage.
We're going to shut this down, come back for a spicy part 2. Where can everybody find you on the internet?
Oh, Instagram, at Jon Venegoni.
I love Instagram first, baby.
Oh, man.
A lot of people go Facebook first.
Oh, it's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, Venegoni, no H in John. So Jon Venegoni. That's Twitter, Instagram. I'm on Snapchat now, too.
Yeah,
but,
Snap.
I don't get it.
I don't
I'm still
either.
too old for it.
I don't have it.
Facebook, Jonathan Venegoni. Whatever you want, yeah.
John's still on Vine, even though they closed it down. Check him out on there.
Exactly. I'm the only one they allowed to have an account still. Yeah.
Nobody else has it. I'm the only one left on AOL Instant Messenger, which they're shutting down in December, which is depressing.
Gosh, I love how people are acting like they were sad about that
It's
shit,
like,
too.
wait, you guys haven't used it since 1996.
Yeah.
Never upset about it.
Exactly. Oh, I'm so mad this thing I never used.
God, besides the Atlanta Olympics.
Yeah.
Guys, if you like us, you follow us, subscribe, do that thing. If not, also subscribe because we need it. Everybody,
on.
leave us a review. Find us on Facebook, Snapchat. We'll get on there. Where's
Yeah.
the Wayman? Thank you all so much for listening. We'll see you soon.